Okay, first look. I have it on my eye already. We're going to do it on this eye, obviously. Whatever you like to do to prep your eye, go ahead and do it. To start off, I went in with the shade Venusian Orchid. It's kind of like my favorite shade to use in the palette because it's really the lightest transition, and I like to start with a light transition. So you can go in with a really fluffy brush or a brush that like kind of fits your eye shape really well. We're going to put this in the crease. So I'm going to start out here first. Bring it in. I'm just going to deepen up the outer edge. So I'm taking a smaller blending brush and I'm kind of focusing it here. And this shade's pretty powerful. I forget that. And you're just going to have it mostly focus on the outer portion of the eye. And don't be scared. Just keep blending it out. Your bigger blending brush is always good to go back into to help soften. You can take a flat shader brush, you know, whatever you want to use. Go in with that dark brown shade we used earlier, which was Major Mahogany, okay? And just start packing it on the eyelid. So, I mean, this would be a good look to do before you put your foundation on because the shimmers themselves can get pretty messy. Not so much the mattes. I'm softening it when we get a little closer to the crease. So see how I'm keeping it kind of centered? And then you can kind of buff it, start buffing it up into the crease so it's not too harsh. Then we'll take Dragonfly, and you can use your finger or a brush. It's whatever you want to do. Also, however long your nails are, because, you know, sometimes it's a little impossible. But I'm going to take it on my finger first and pat it on. I always start in the center and then work my way out. And that's kind of how the look's looking so far. So we'll go ahead and clean this up. You can use this to help kind of shape it out a little bit if you want that. For the under eyes, I'm going to take a smaller blending brush. Depends on how smoky you want to make it. Make it as smoky as you want. I like it smoky, so that's why this is good enough for me. Although this might be too big for you and you want to keep it a little closer to the eye, use a little bit more of a denser, smaller brush, like this right here. This can help, and then you can smoke it out later. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to just put this under my eye. Then you could take a more flatter, precise brush and go in with the brown. And then I'm going to take that same brush with nothing on it, or like the one from before, and I'm going to blend. And then you can make this as dark as you want. This is already kind of dark, but we can make it darker. What we can do is you could take the shade Lunar Champagne, and we can put this in our inner corner. Or use your own highlighter, whatever you want, just to kind of brighten up the eye a little bit. And then I'll come back with my face done, and we'll see how it all looks together. Okay, so this is how everything looks together with some makeup. I know I don't look like that great right now. Honestly, I really love this look. I think it's so pretty. It's so simple, but like effective. You know what I'm saying? Alright, on to look 2. Alright, so look number 2. I'm actually thinking of let's do a matte eye. I know the shimmers are basically the entire palette, but let's just do a matte eye because, you know, sometimes you be in that kind of mood, right? So I'm going to take a blending brush, and you want to use one that's pretty fluffy depending on how much you want it to be smoked out. So when you have a fluffier brush, it diffuses the color a lot more, makes it softer. So for me, I'm going to go in with Venusian Orchid, yes, the pink shade, and we're going to take a fluffy blending brush. This is the Alamar Cosmetics one, and I'm just going to build this up in my crease. I always like to start my crease on the outer portion of my eye because the most color that's going to touch my lid will go right here instead of somewhere in here where it'd be harder to blend, if that makes sense. So it just kind of deposits the color in a better area. It's a more flattering area, if that makes sense. Alright, so this is kind of how this is looking. So another thing I think I might do is I'm going to bring the pink a little bit onto my actual lid. So just using this blender brush, I'm just like picking up some eyeshadow and kind of really just going to dust it all over my lid. But I was going to just keep it a little on my lid, but I'm just going to actually go all the way. Why not? Let's go all the way. So if you're curious, this is actually like an all pink eye kind of look, you know, just smoke out the bottom. And you would have a look right here. It's actually really pretty. But I'm going to go in with the purple shade in the palette, and I'm going to pat this shade on. I feel like this would look so pretty. It'll make anybody's eyes pop using this purple. I feel like purple is a really flattering shade for people. So I'm just adding a little bit of shadow at a time to pack on, because this will help like reduce a lot of the fallout that can happen. And also like if you tap your brush off, it'll help a lot too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with that first shade, the pink shade, on a blending brush and just kind of soften it out. And I'm actually going to take a more dense shadow brush and see if that'll actually deepen up the shade a little. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh yeah, I like that. So, as you can tell, kind of looking at this eye versus this eye, that the density of your shadow brush when you're going to put it on has an impact of how like opaque you want it, if that makes sense. At this point, if you have any fallout, I would probably try to clean that up first so you don't end up looking like bruised. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the under eye. So I'm gonna take this kind of short blending brush. This is the ColourPop E19 if you're curious. And I'm going to go in with the pink shade and smoke this out on my lower lash. And then I'm actually going to take that little flat definer brush and I'm going to take that purple shade and I want to put it close to the lash for a second. And then you can smoke it out or keep it, you know, defined. Then we can take a little flat brush and go in with the shade, honestly either one of the golds, but maybe Galactic Gold. Let's give it a whirl. I'm actually going to spray my brush. Ooh, look at that. But I'm gonna come back with my face done because I know it's a little hard to imagine the final look until it's all put together. So I'll be right back. This is how everything looks all together. I think it looks really pretty, especially like it's just a nice little matte eye moment that I think everybody loves and can enjoy. And I think the purple is really pretty. All I have is just some mascara on my eyes, and then I put some lip gloss on because I gave up on trying to find a lip combo to wear with this. So sorry. So let's move on to look number 3. Okay, so third look. This one is actually going to be assisted by another palette. I'm sure you can find a shade similar to this. So essentially all it is it's going to be 2 eyeshadows. We're going to use the beautiful shimmer shade in this palette. Shade right here. It's the shade Bronze in the palette. And I use the ColourPop California Love palette, and I went in with the shade Sequoia, which is this really pretty, just like brighter little orange shade. It's not like neon or anything, but it's like a nice little kind of summertime orange. So I'm just going to take the shade Sequoia on a blending brush and I'm just going to put this in my crease. And then we'll go in with the bronze shade. So I'm just going to take a little packing brush and put this on my lid. And then you can go back in with that brush you used last time to kind of just soften everything out. And that's how it's going to start looking. And if you want, you can go in with a darker shade like the brown in the palette and deepen up the outer edges, give it more of a smoky effect, or you could just leave it like this and kind of have just a really shiny orange moment on the eye. I'm going to leave it like that. And then you can take that little shader brush if you're using something like this, or just go in with a smaller blending brush, whatever you like to use. And you can put the shimmer shade underneath your eye or just the matte. I think I'm going to do a little bit of both. So let's take Sequoia, run it under here, and then put a little shimmer. Alright, and then I'll be back with makeup. Alright, and this is what everything looks like when it's all put together. I just did a really natural, like very light makeup application for this look. So this is the third look. I like it a lot because it's like nice and bronzy and glowy, especially for the spring and summertime. You know, when we get a little bit of that sun-kissed skin, so hot, we'll melt your popsicle. And then just top it off with a glossy lip. I forget about this lip gloss. I don't know if they still sell it, but if they do, it's a nice lip gloss. It's the Ultra Glossy Lip by ColourPop in the shade Fresco. It was when they had that watermelon, like, red collection. It's just really pretty. It gives a nice little pinky wash to the lips. Yeah. But I feel like it ties in this look. So, alright, on to four. Wow, can't count. 4. So for the fourth look, you know, I like to do something that's a little bit more spicy, a little bit more zhuzh to it. So, you know, if you want to do this one, like, for every day or even just special occasion or something like that, I think it'll work for both ways. I'm excited. I'm going to try it out. I have it in my head, but I haven't done it yet, so we're going to see how it comes out. I'm going to take the brown shade Major Mahogany in the palettes, and we're going to take a more angled brush. Okay. And I'm going to, like, make a little wing. And then we're going to bring it in halfway into our crease. And then taking a little blending brush, little like pencil brush, I'm just softening it. And take a small blending brush because that one wasn't working very well, and I'm just softening out the edge, adding a little bit more shadow. Okay, so once we get it to start looking somewhat like this, it's okay if they don't look exact, that's totally fine. We're going to go in with the shade Lunar Champagne, and you could take a brush, use your finger. I'm just going to pat my finger into the eyeshadow first, and then I'm going to put this on my lid. I'm going to take a little brush to kind of get in that little arrow, like that little pointy part. I'm going to do this with a liner, but you can use a dark brown eyeshadow, the same one in here, or however you want to do it. But I'm just going to deepen this up a little bit by putting some liner on. I'm going to smoke it out. And then I'm going to go back in with the brown shade from the palette, and I'm just going to define that little eyeshadow on the crease. Don't worry, we'll clean all this up. So I cleaned up the edges so you can see how it looks a little bit more put together. And then we're going to take a flat brush and put some brown under here to kind of connect the lashes. You could take a blending brush and smoke it out. And then the inner corner, you can go on with that same shade. And then I'll be back with the rest of the makeup. And this is all the makeup together. So, I think it's really cute. I actually really like it. I think it's fun. I'm going to wear it for the day. But this is the fourth and final look. So this is kind of how it came out. So these are all the 4 looks. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you liked them. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Oh, and by the way, tell me which ones you like. Okay, bye.